What up, everybody? Welcome back to another Comically Boston. Today we're talking about X-Men 97 Episode 6, Life Death Part 2. My girl Storm is back in the mix. You know, throwing the ones and twos, throwing some hooks, throwing some uppercuts. Yeah, baby, she's back. I got the shirt on, but she doesn't have her classic white outfit like she did at the beginning of this series, and we'll talk about all of that in this episode, so let's get into it. X-Men 97 has been awesome so far. Thank you to everyone who watched episode 5 last week, like 400 and something. I couldn't even believe how many views that video did, so thank you guys very much. It did like 15, 16 likes or something like that too, so I'm very happy about that. So I hope you guys like this episode as well, so let's get into it. The poster for this week that I grabbed is like a black and white, and it's kind of, you know, ominous because our boy Magneto's up top there in his old style suit with this helmet, and he's all black and white. We still see Gambit in this poster in color, but he's off to the side. Wolverine off in the back, right? Like, I think it should be commended that the X-Men 97 crew didn't force Wolverine to have like a main character storyline through this whole thing, and they've kind of been focusing on Jean and Scott and Storm, Gambit and Rogue, you know, like Jubilee's even gotten a little bit, but we really haven't dove into like Wolverine being our main character like they were, or like he was in the previous X-Men movies that we've seen him in. Even kind of in the old show, he was still kind of like a main character. But this episode's all about where our long-lost professor has been and our girl Storm. So we're going to talk spoilers about episode 6. So if you don't want to hear them, scram, get out of here. But if you do, hopefully you've seen the episode and you just want to hear more and see what other people are thinking about it. But this is all about my girl Storm, baby. Ooh, I love the mohawk, but she gets a little haircut in this episode. But let's start with what's new this episode. The intro adds our boy Nightcrawler. Although he doesn't make an appearance in the episode, he gets himself a new title card, replacing, I think, Magneto or Gambit, because I don't believe they were in the title card anymore, which is just sad after last week's episode. Like, But we start out this episode in the middle of a galactic war going on in the stars, and it is Lady Deathbird? Ladybird? I think her name's Deathbird, actually. And she's the sister to Lady Liandra of the Shi'ar Empire, I believe. I don't know these characters all that well, but I did recognize this guy in the top picture here in this green outfit. And I was like, green outfit, but he still got the blue skin and he had that hammer. I was like, I don't remember seeing this guy in green, but maybe this is more of a comic books accurate outfit, much like the rest of the costumes are in this X-Men show. And this is Ronan that she takes out here. Friggin' steps on his face, puts a high heel through his cheek. I was like, oh, God, this Lady Deathbird, or whatever her name is, Deathbird, I'm into it, man. I'm kind of really into her. Although she, you know, is kind of a bitch this episode, I'm kind of into it. You know, like, she can step on my face for sure. Her and this dude over here, Goliath, or something like that, Gladiator or something like that, he's pretty powerful. I wonder if he's in the Marvel comics or if these are new people that are showing up. I'm assuming most of these people are from the comics. But we see our first glimpse of Professor X. And we last saw him at the end of the original OG X-Men animated series. And he had taken off with this lady, Miss Liandra? I don't know. It's a mouthful of a name, but she's the leader of this planet or this empire, these people, the Shi'ar Empire, and she is looking to marry Mr. Charles Xavier after she has clearly worked him back to health and saved his life, given him this suit that allows him to have functional legs again. And he's kind of, I don't really dig the helmet. He kind of looks like a sassy Magneto, but you know, it's still good to see Charles back and what he's been up to, and that he's still thinking about his X-Men, and really all he wants is to go back and see his people, and I thought it was crazy. She like looks up at a black hole and she's like, black holes are like families, suck you into their drama and never let you go. And I was like, holy shit, the writers of this really don't have much love for their families. And definitely I feel that. The family doesn't love you back. It just feels like a black hole sucking the life out of you every now and again. But we cut back to Storm, and we last saw her in Life Death Part 1, and her companion Forge got bit by this devil demon bird, and he's kind of getting infected by her demon poison, and Storm's trying to save him, and she's like, okay, we gotta find a cure, and this death bird demon thing is trying to prey on her fear and her insecurities, and she's just like not having it at first, and the demon traps her in a box, and she's like, I do not fear death. And then like starts showing you creepy demonic faces, like the bird changes into Beast's face, then changes into Rogue, Cyclops, Jeans, Gambit's, Wolverine, even turns into a Storm, you know, of herself demon version. You know, and I was like, oh my god, the horror vibes in some of these animated series, like earlier in that episode where the demon crawls out of the TV and Jubilee hits him with those star things, splits his head open, right? Like, they're really leaning into certain vibes this season. I kind of really dig it, especially with the people like Mr. Sinister coming about. We'll talk about more of him later. But she sees all these things, and we cut back to Charles and his new boo trying to become husband and wife type thing and rule this empire. And Miss Leandra is walking down with him, and he goes, your man referred to me as like I'm a pet. And he goes, not a completely undesirable thought. And I was like, oh, Charles, you dirty dog, you want to be her pet? And she goes, hush now, my beloved, you may bark later. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're fucking kinky. Oh, I like it a lot. Now I'm just picturing her getting friggin' Charles all dirty and naked and just being like, bark for me, darling, and him just being like, woof. Oh god. But as they're about to start their ceremony, her sister shows up, Deathbird, the same person that we saw at the start of this episode. So we already know she's a badass, dark person. She's not necessarily a good guy, she's more of a bad guy. And she shows up, she's like, fuck this guy, why are we friggin' trying to take his advice? And I got this great clip, so let's watch this clip and then we'll talk more. But I love what Lady Deathbird has to say to Charles and his boo here.
Alliance with his inferior homeworld.
I respect you speaking the quiet part out loud, Deathbird, so let's speak plainly. Your Empress and I decide alliances, as well as which world we call home.
Chandalar is home. Our throne world.
Of course, Lord Chancellor. I nearly meant...
Spoke the quiet part out loud. Xavier would see his Milky Way ghetto become our new throne world.
You are twisting my words.
His Milky Way ghetto? What? Like, what is she talking about, Milky Way ghetto? Like, oh, this shit had me dying. I was like, what? Milky Way ghetto? And then I believe we cut back to Forge with a Doctor Strange magical book type of looking thing, as far as we know. And he casts some spell on that demon bird to get that bird away from Storm. And Storm runs over and like grabs Forge, looks at his like thing, and it kind of looks like it's healing a little bit, but not really. And he's like, desert magic, Mom used to practice, I guess some of it sunk in. And we're all like, I'm still sitting there like, is Forge telling her the truth, or is he just a conniving little fucker? But he does seem to have true feelings and really does love her. And at some point in this episode, she like kisses him and goes, my love, we need to get you a cure. And he's like, a cactus in a cave, like, doesn't grow in sunlight. We gotta find it, like. And you're like, all right, where are we going with this episode? But we cut back to the two girls fighting, and she's like, no, you must not with this fool. He's Milky Way ghetto. We will not share an empire with those Terrans. And he's all sassy in this full outfit with this crazy helmet, and he looks at her and goes, oh god, you're so dramatic. And I'm like, while you're wearing the sassy ass outfit, you're calling her dramatic? Come on. Oh god, it had me cackling. But then a kind of fight ensues, and he goes, oh, I should use my powers, and he sucks everyone that is important into a classroom and goes, class is in session. He's biting an apple, he's in his old green suit, he's teaching a lesson to these Shi'ar about why he does not want to lose his empires, and why the X-Men are important, and why they mean so much to him. And then we cut back to Storm. And Storm is going through it in a confined space. She's feeling claustrophobic again, and this demon bird is back and coming to get her, and forges down the hall, and he needs her help, and she's got to, you know, just power back up, and she's got to do it. And we get a great shots of her doing just that. And let's watch this clip now.
You all are an echo of who I am.
Storm swirls. The lightning comes.
Let them thunder.
Let them thunder.
I am lightning.
Ooh! Ah! I was so hyped. I was so hyped watching this. And she shoots lightning right up into the atmosphere. The feathers of the bird evaporate. Satellites start seeing her Storm from space. Oh yeah, that's Stormer, right? That's a storm. If you can see it from space, that's a storm, baby. She emerges. Tiara's up. Woo! Ooh, nice little lens flare over the sun. Free falls back into the planet, feeling the wind. Soaring. Woo! Great shot. She soars next to the horsies. Oh, great shot there too. Flying through the canyon. I love the black and gold. She looks into the water. That's a great shot. Whips up some tornadoes. Oh, Storm's back. Oh, Storm's back, baby. She's back. Woo! Oh, my girl, heed my command. She gets her powers back. She faces her fears. She does the damn thing, and she's back, baby. I'm back. Woo! Fucking whatever that was, a little howl to the moon. It's okay. It makes me brought out some primal animal energy in me. I felt like a wolf right there. But I love this little sequence. The lightning shots of her, you can barely even see it. It's almost just a yellow flash, but you can see her hair's growing, the lightning's coming back to her. It's not affecting her the way that it would affect everyone else. But, oh, just great shots of her, right? The tiara's forming onto her head. Oh, God, what a great shot. At the end of that shot, the lens flare over the sun. Like, this is an animated show. They don't need to do a lens flare as if this was a camera getting in the shot. But they did it anyways, right? Like, that's just details that go a long way for someone like me. You know, but the soaring next to the horses, you know, running and looking into the water shot. Oh, that's a great friggin' shot right there. When she's over the water and she's just like swooping and swirling in. She's just like, okay, I'm soaring over the water. You see it whipping by, and then she just poof, pops up 3 water tornadoes. You're like, oh my God, we merely forgot for a second that this bitch was an Omega level threat. I love this shot of her hands, right, going through this cavern, and you just see her like kind of swooping, like, you know, feeling the wind on her face again. She's got to be ecstatic, you know, just the happiest woman alive right now to have her powers back. I love the black and gold suit, this little like power up shot with the big long swooping black hair. Oh God, she looks so freaking good. Oh, the black boots, the black like one piece bikini, I'll call it, with like the swooping. I dig the swoops connecting to the wrists and like how she flows, but you know, everyone criticizes that, like, costume. I don't know, man. I think it works perfectly for somebody that, like, loves to feel the power of the wind and lightning and stuff like that. It fits for me. It works. There's just so many great shots in that sequence. Oh, God. But I love that, you know, that final shot, we get to see her in the sky, and she's just, like, kind of swooping, and you can see her floating, and she's got her powers back. Her eyes are glowing. Her white hair is now no longer mohawk. It's just this beautiful long flowing hair. Oh, She looks so much similar to her comic book, you know, accurate costume design, and you know, I just think that's beautiful stuff there. And then she goes back to Forge. She got his medicine, starts to heal him, and we see a shot from the back as she's washing her hands over that blonde, beautiful, long, elegant white hair now. And he's like, where should we go? Should we go to an island and sit on a beach with a couple coconuts? And she's like, well, what a tempting idea. And then he turns on the TV, and Storm starts to cry because she sees the tragedy of the friggin' chaos that just ensued on Genosha. And she sees, you know, this bombing and, you know, terrorist attack on Genosha and her people, and she starts to cry, and that's the last we get to see is Storm. So Storm, I think, is going to go to Genosha and help the X-Men, which is great. Get her back with the team, you know, rejoin forces. That's going to make me feel good. And then we cut back to Charles Xavier. Class is still in session, and he's teaching the Shi'ar, you know, vital importance on how their empire's taking people out at the knees. And then we cut to a shot of the globe on his desk, and the globe starts spinning, and it bursts into fire. And then he turns around, and everyone in the classroom is skeletons. And then a giant Gambit appears, and you're like, "What the fuck, my boy Gambit?" And I believe this is all just Charles, supposedly on the astral plane, which is where, like, you go when you die, I'm pretty sure. Or that might be the ancestral plane. The astral plane is supposed to be like where your consciousness is, like when Doctor Strange pushes you out of your body, if I'm correct there. But either way, I think this is him sensing the tragedy that just happened on Genosha, you know, however far away they are in the Shi'ar Empire. But we see, look at how he sees Gambit, just a giant Gambit, and then he just turns into a skeleton with glowing red eyes. Oh my god, and that's like the last thing we see from Charles. Charles sees this thing, and he's like, oh no, and he like falls back. Everyone like kind of, wait a second, we were in Charles pulled us into something. Now we have our brains back, and we're all back. And Charles is on the ground. She's like, what's wrong? And he goes, I need to go back to my X-Men. I need my X-Men. And that's like the end of the episode. You're like, ah! How are they leave us just cliffhanger after cliffhanger? And this was what, episode 6? So we got 7, 8, 9, 10? Or is it 9? 10? 9, 10? I think we have 3 or 4 more episodes. I'm super hyped about that. Comment below, what have you thought of this X-Men series so far? What was your favorite part of episode 6, Life, Death Part 2? I thought this was going to be a just Storm-focused episode, but it seemed more of a Charles episode, which, you know, I'm fine with, because we still got to see our girl Storm repowered up. She's no longer a normal Humie. We like to see her as the Omega level threat that she is, and I hope she absolutely wipes out everything in her path in vengeance. But comment below what you would like to see with the rest of the series. What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think of my girl Storm's new look, her haircut, her black outfit? She's no longer in the white. I'm into it. Are you still upset about Gambit? I know I am. The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it. Well, my name's Big Cam. Remember it. Please subscribe and like this video. Hit that bell so you don't miss future videos. More movie reviews coming your way. Comically Boston's out on Monday. After shows for X-Men 97 coming out Thursdays. Stay tuned for more. Thank you guys for watching. And I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace.